Welcome to the Industry Angel Podcast. We hear from the best business minds across the globe. Entrepreneurs, social influencers, marketing mavens, and sales rock stars. We've got them all. Here comes your weekly dose of inspiration with your host, Ian Farah.
I'm definitely getting put on another list.
And we're off. We are actually live at the Startup Safari, Newcastle, Gateshead, day 3. Woo. At Proto. We in Proto, Baltimore House?
This is actually Baltimore House, but the day is taking place at Proto.
Tell me who...
Emerging
Right, okay, guys, who are you?
Oh, so I'm Tom.
And my name is Cameron.
And we're from Cintel Global, a company based out of Proto, startup working in immersive tech.
So you know when you said Cintel Global, the first thing that sprung to mind. Have you seen Step Brothers?
Yes.
Right. What are they called? Prestige Worldwide?
Yes.
Yes, straight away I thought of those two.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a really good point of reference.
Yeah. So,
I mean, we are slowly going to be transitioning to Cintel Intergalactic, but, you know, we wanted to keep it quite low-key for now. So
Right.
Cintel Cosmic is the R&D arm.
So tell us a bit about the Global, where that come from.
So this all started, this madcap adventure that we've been on with a load of international work. So we've actually began the company with a third business partner. So the company, it wasn't a company at the time, it was just us two guys.
Project,
kind of doing it. It was the freelance game. I got called out to a project that took place in the south of France and did a bit of work out there following up after that. So we set the company up not to be based in England. We set the company up to facilitate a large-scale live gig, basically shooting like an Oscars event out in the south of France. So we needed a company, and at the time we were just the two British guys who we were told, funnily enough, were really like hot assets. Apparently the French really like a British attitude towards filmmaking, so they loved us.
The UK does have an international reputation for quality and prestige in media production. That applies across
You got to get that prestige word in, didn't you?
Prestige.
Yeah.
See that
It's all
subliminal,
about
lay
the
that in your head
prestige.
before there?
Yes. He's been working us. We've been groomed just before this interview. So
You haven't actually been groomed at all.
just for the record.
Say that.
So yeah, that kind of led us to a point where we needed like TVA and all the things to be able to go and work in France. So we set this up to be major production company focused on French.
Yeah.
But
And kind of one of the angles from the initial early days was that we want to set up so we can facilitate work wherever it be. So the whole global element, as long as we've got an internet connection and a laptop and a camera, we can kind of do what we do.
yeah,
So did you guys set up to be a movie production company? Is that what it was?
that's kind of our
Yeah, essentially it's
background.
kind of-
Did anybody actually know what these guys do when they did that presentation downstairs? Was everyone looking going, what's just going on? What have we just witnessed? What was that madcap stuff?
I mean, for the most part, though, that's probably what our USP is the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that can pick up a camera, they can put together a design, they can do all these things, but can they get somebody excited about doing it? So we realised very early on, especially out in Monaco, that the kind of clients we were working with, they were like really, hits was used like important people, but they had influence, you know, they'd been around, could be very selective about the people that they worked with, but the reason that they chose to work with us was because of who we were. So we just took that and said, look, if we're going to make movies for these people, it needs to be an experience. They need to feel like they've had they want the Hollywood glitz and glamour, but they also don't want to be bored to death. So we were like, if we can inject a bit of fun into what we do, it's going to keep us motivated to keep doing it. And the madness of 2 has kind of gotten us through the hard times of it. Yeah, like a startup.
You've got the madness of 20, actually. But
bottled into 2.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
it wasn't really a compliment.
Planned laughter. We've got real laughter. Oh my god.
You mentioned the third business partner?
Yeah, so that was initially...
A friend of ours who we graduated from university with.
Yeah, so he instigated the first project that kind of brought together what became Cintel by giving us our first project together. So these guys knew each other really well. So the business partner initially was intended to be Jordan Thompson. His dad runs a yacht broker firm out in Monaco and had contacts with a major events company out there. He got in contact with Cameron, looking to put together a video for them. And when the team needed to be bigger to kind of take on more of what the job was, it kind of was one of those things where you get the initial brief and it just expands and expands the more you offer. And it was like, actually, Tom could be good for this as well. So we had a quick chat. Very almost overnight decided, right, okay, yeah, we'll just throw everything into this, see what we can do. And over the course of doing it, bearing in mind we had no script, we left there hungover from your engagement party the night before with all of our kit to get on the Eurostar. Which was
Are you still engaged?
Yes.
Wow.
Just got married. Well, just
Yeah.
legally. But
Congrats.
yeah, get yourself to the wedding. If you've enjoyed the talk, it'll be a mad one. Yeah. But then, yeah, immediately after that, went and did this thing, and we realised, you know, despite being able to crack on and be good mates, with very little prep to go through how we would work together, we just worked together really well.
Much like this podcast.
This is very structured. I have a list of questions in front of me.
Oh, yeah. This is all an act. Like, when we
It's
go
all on the
home,
wall
we're
behind.
really sad bastards, but... Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we ended up where we are.
So I think we've mentioned there about what comes to my mind is retain the talent, train the skill.
Yes.
Sort of saying it's about you guys rather than the business or what or actually the business is going to be. It's just that you are the business, which I love. So the third business partner then, is there a split? Is it 50-50? Is it he still around?
No, so he's kind of like our independent agent on the ground over there. It's 50-50 shared ownership between myself and
Between you
Tom.
guys? You mentioned a VC there, so in terms of taking venture capital. So did that happen? Have you took investment?
Well, it was angel investment. It was all through the Monaco contact. So we
Oh,
were
okay.
actually going there to look to the yacht company because they wanted a media department. So we said, well, we could make this part of your media wing, and the investment you would put into your own in-house team, put it into us, and we can do more with it because we can actually go out there and produce varied content. At the end of the day, it would have required a lot of giving up control.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for us too, you've seen the way we work. It's quite difficult to get people on side with like, actually, it's a people's game, but
Yeah.
money and people is a very difficult thing to try and reconcile. So we don't want to lose control over us being able to do this the way we
Yeah.
do it because we've got an investor breathing down our neck.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get that investment, you've got somebody kind of like chasing you down and the breath over your shoulder. We wanted to kind of avoid that whole.
At least until we can prove it
Dependency.
works. So right now, everything's bootstrapped. Everything we've achieved ourselves with the help of people that we've got on board. So
Yeah.
that's been a great example of how we can get people engaged in our madness and actually prove that we can do something with it as well. At that point, we're 6 months in, we're doing really well, and we hope that in the next...
Relatively.
Well, no, as a
Yeah, no,
startup,
yeah.
I'd say this is great. You know, we can feed ourselves, you know, we're paying the rent, we've got an office, we're making good contacts, we've got really interesting work coming through the doors, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. You know, there's been rises and falls in it, and we've gone through the hell and high water of wondering where the hell we're going to get our next bit of bread from, but you get through it, and we've got each other to do that. Now we're like, right, a year in, then we start potentially looking at kind of like investment and thinking, okay, we've got this
Scale
formula.
up.
Yeah, the scale-up side of it.
okay.
We started all this with a fantastic network of people that we do work with. We're kind of looking at now ways through internships or other things to, again, kind of bootstrap more of a team.
Get all of our friends' jobs, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
This kind of whole thing did come out of a initial period where me and Tom both graduated, did our separate things, we're working for bigger organizations and other individuals, and essentially just getting put through the ringer, taken advantage of in a sense,
Okay.
and not really put to our best use.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, why do we break our backs for somebody else's benefit? Why not try and throw the eggs in our own basket, so to speak?
Yeah. So a vision would be to bring your pals in, give them a good job, have some more fun, see what happens.
It's already starting to happen as well.
Okay,
actually.
cool.
Yeah.
But the thing with pals is we've realised, you know, I was quite selective, so I...
Don't work with your friends, by the way.
Well,
This is-
This guy.
Yeah, luckily we don't.
But that is kind of the thing as well. If you've got a relationship with somebody where you can tell them to F off and
Yeah,
then
I've got
turn
that.
around and
Yeah.
everything's you can still carry on and crack on. That's kind of the level of realism that you need.
Oh, of course.
There's some serious V signs getting thrown behind you.
But we say friends. It's not like we just want to sit down and have a laugh. The idea
Yeah.
is, like Karen says, it's the utility of using the social structures we've already got in day-to-day life to
Yeah,
make it easier.
It's trust as well. You trust them, you know them.
But that's the thing. You be selective. We don't pick friends based on just their good crack. It's like if you respect somebody enough to know that
Yeah.
you can push that relationship,
Yeah.
but you both fully understand that you're intelligent people doing good work
Yeah.
for good reasons, that is the barrier to entry of getting into our like inner circle. And everybody that was already in Cameron's inner circle fit the bill. Everybody that I've known in my other contacts love Cameron, so the two worlds just came together in such a good way.
How
that,
could they not?
I mean, yeah, it's like there's no better validation of your own friends than seeing if another guy likes them. You know what I mean?
It's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so we keep on vetting all the people that we involve in this with each other.
Yeah.
You know,
So you get all your friends to meet Cameron.
Yeah.
If they get through that
And if they
test,
don't
they're
run
fine.
away.
Yeah, then they're brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone
Plus
needs
the-
a Cameron test.
Well,
They do.
you, Ian.
Wow. So this is
I've got
some
no
live
idea what
sound
he's just
testing
done.
going on now.
This is happening. Full
Yeah.
advantage.
So we talked a lot here about people.
Yes.
The whole kind of theme is being all around people. And I love what you said there about investors, because you take investment, but essentially that person's then got to sit in your board table. And if they don't get you guys, it can be
If they're
really
not on
prickly.
board with the vision, then
So
it's just
yeah,
gonna
so
collapse.
and thinking about that investment, then how would you take that? How would you view bringing somebody in? Then you're going to be interviewing them essentially.
Yeah. Oh, and we do. We've had
Yeah.
meetings with investors where we basically, you know, preliminary meetings and no names. Everyone's great. Like we've got no issue with the system of investment. It's just
Yeah.
not for our kind of creative company. We
Yeah.
don't think. But it's like,
Definitely not at the moment.
yeah, not at the moment. We usually sit down with them and go, look, here's who we are, here's what we do, and here's what we want to achieve. Now, at the moment where we realise that we're hamstrung by our capital, we may come and see you. But we would most likely create another company. So we've already had discussions around Cintel Labs, been something that we could run R&D through. So we've got loads of projects that we do for immersive tech stuff that we think, right, if we were to find some, not even seed investment, but just grant money. So Innovate UK, there's all these things that come up. We tend to pitch for quite a few of them. We'll just get stuff out there. We've got documents ready where we can just put things out. If anything bites, we know that we're in a position where we very quickly, Cameron's dad's a lawyer, my dad's, he's been running a creative agency for the past 40 years, so we have a brain trust, which we haven't mentioned again, which is, again, those people we respect. We get to be the two idiots that sit at the face of this, but we're backed up by legal knowledge, creative knowledge, accountancy, anything that we know we need, we've found that in close peers. And those are the people we can call up at any moment and go, it's all gone a bit south, what do we do now? And we'll get a really genuine answer. But with all of that, it's become clear that, we keep Cintel Global as something that we can mess about with and test things within, and it becomes our baby, really. And then anything we do outside of that, we keep it at a distance, where it becomes its own entity, and we say, right, what you're investing in is no longer us. Of course, it still is, it's a people's game, but you're actually investing in the idea that is the product of this madness. And we have quite a few of those a day, so, hopefully soon we'll get there.
It's interesting you said test there, which really stuck out in my mind, because we've just seen you guys present there. It was wild, it was wacky, and we just thought, what is going on here? What are we actually looking at?
Can we get that in black and white for the website?
It's wild, it's wacky,
and what is going on here? Nice.
I'll get the t-shirt printed in the morning.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm getting that printed.
But you think about the nature of the beast that you guys are in. I don't expect what's going to happen in 5-10 years. I wouldn't expect to have a roadmap. You think we are going to do this.
But the sector we're in, nobody does. That's the best bit.
Exactly. So you're pivoting, you're testing, you're playing. It's
The
like a
ability to be
sandpit out there.
agile, I think, is so infinitely beneficial, and it's something that really can only be facilitated being in the northeast or a region outside of London.
Tell me a
where
bit
you
more
can.
about that.
Yeah.
So just the overheads of living here. If this was central London, the office space that we've got would be a cupboard and would be living in less than a cupboard.
Bearing in mind, we did initially want the stationary cupboard at Proto, but
we nearly got the stationary cupboard.
We very nearly Harry Pottered our
For
way
the
into
purpose
industry.
of...
An office.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been our full digs.
Well, this big.
Yeah, works really well on podcast, that, mate.
Well, mate. Look left, there's a camera.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Watch the live stream.
Oh, yeah. Tune in for the live stream to see the box Cameron just laid out.
And the fact that Tom's not wearing pants right now.
Oh, God, yeah. And you'll get to see what's under the hat.
The affordability of living and setting up in the northeast.
Yeah, well, the thing that we learned when we first came down, because we were aware of Proto long before we thought we would ever be there, was the cluster that had formed. And it was brilliant, because it turns out Proto is not a build it and they will come. They're already here. They found the cluster. They actually looked at the research and went, oh, we've got
the demand.
Yeah, we've got a burgeoning immersive tech industry, an emerging tech industry.
Yeah.
Let's give them something that's going to help fuel that. So thinking, right, okay, we're already stepping into a place that has this industry. Why is it so booming? And it was because it's totally against the model of London. It's not the cream rises to the top and everyone else fails. The problem with that in this industry is the minute Oculus releases a new headset that's disruptive, or someone cracks a silver bullet of a new piece of code that can go into the back end, everything shifts. So the Oculus Quest coming out is another major shift. If your company isn't up to date with that, hasn't been given pre-release access or any of the things that being in a building like this offers, you fall. But here, we're quite small cottage industry companies that help each other, and there's a lot of collaboration. So if anything shifts, the independent companies can dismantle, be rebuilt in different forms, teams get pulled back together. We've seen it happen in Proto. Entire R&D wings of major companies have been disbanded and absorbed by other teams just to keep that talent where it is, because everyone knows that the people that are working on this stuff here know what they're doing and shouldn't be sent down to London to go work with the big boys. We are the big boys. We're actually massively out-competing them. So we stepped into this going, well, if the agile workflow for everybody else is what's keeping the industry going, we need those contacts and we need to be, at a moment's notice, ready to just totally change what it is we do. And like we say, not only has Gateshead Council given us the financial ability to do that, which again has all come through just advice from Northumbria, from Gateshead Council, meeting with Alex and the team and just proving that no matter what the mad thing we're going to do is, we'll do it to our fullest. And they totally got on board with that and said, right, you can have the office. So that was really, for us, that was the thing that sealed the deal. Because now we appear a lot more established than we are. Proto's a very young place, but it has already done so much that riding on the coattails of all of this, we're brand ambassadors for Proto. We speak about it quite a lot. And getting people excited about the fact it's actually happening here, if that doesn't blow your mind, we will in the first meeting. So it just worked. So
tell us a little bit about Proto then. So you talked about that community where you're collaborating. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the community, a lot of business centres, it is a little bit, I mean, pardon.
Enforced.
Yeah, it's a bit wanky. You know, it's like, you're going to come and join our community.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's a bit...
See the two polar opposites, enforced and wanky.
you know,
They don't have to be opposites.
it's all a bit like, oh yes, we have a community here. It's like, okay, well, people meet each other for coffee once a month and nobody speaks to each other, and it's so cliquey, and there was none of that. Everyone was like in the hot desking lounge, in the startup spaces. There were so many events. People got to meet each other, and for a good 3 months, it was just like everyone was brothers in arms. Like everyone was starting out. They'd all moved into a fresh space, finding their feet, doing whatever.
It's like finding those fresh ideas, those new production techniques, and the bits of information that you weren't aware of until somebody tells you. Kind of
So you're
thing.
sharing that amongst yourselves. You go in the water
Yes.
cooler, you're having a coffee, you're having lunch together. Have you tried this? Have you saw that?
Oh yeah, there was actually talk, and none of this was pushed by the centre. The centre was very hands-off when it came to anything community. We tried to become sort of like the nexus of the social forums that were being created, running podcasting and stuff similar to this, and
Yeah.
you know,
Not similar to this.
well,
Yeah.
not like that. No, it's
Nothing
way
In
better
your
than this.
dreams, brother. Global as you may be.
Oh yeah. Sorry, galactic, and
Intergalactic.
yeah, the
aren't they
podcast was
now?
out of this world. We should write that down.
Another
and,
strapline. Hey, there's so many
God,
straplines today.
I'm glad we came.
At least we're getting something out of this.
Yeah, and,
Glad you are.
yeah.
Carry on.
so there we were thinking, right, we've got this community that's kind of formed itself, and there was even talk right in the early days of, we're all just figuring this out. You know, the tech is new. Nobody knows how to tell stories in it. There is no rules. It's not like cinema where it's like you have a
For
3-act
the past
structure.
100
and you-
years, the conventions have been defined. It's
and
all
everyone's just
very new.
playing it so
Yeah.
safe. Everyone wants to be the thing that is like the next big crazy idea. So for a while, people went, okay, we've got this new tech. We want to learn what to do with it. People in all these different fields, you know, the multi-sector approach massively is what Proto's about. The people working in commercial figure it out for games. Games help figure out new AI and new UI systems and like ways of interacting with things that are totally unreal to then figure out how to put it into the real. All of those people came together and just over the grapevine said, why don't we put together a communal Bible of all of the knowledge that we've got, that everyone makes mistakes on the way. So it's like, you know, every business book tries to do it with how to do a startup, where they say, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this, and at least you won't make the initial mistakes, so you get fines, or, you know, your business dies in the first 6 months or whatever. We looked at doing that with the tech. Now, it turns out we didn't need a book. We all spoke enough over coffee that I think possibly the biggest and best ideas space in Newcastle is the kitchen at Proto.
Okay.
Because everyone who's stood in there having a coffee is chatting about what they're on with. Everyone is so excited. You will find at least maybe 3 or 4 times a day there are people in there so animated. You're like, if you could just put a live broadcast camera in that room and feed that back to Google and Microsoft, they'd be in here every
What are
day
they putting
going,
in the
can we have
coffee
that? Yeah.
So you took the words out of my mouth there, because you think about some of the businesses that are in here, very agile, very flexible. You bootstrap, you can take risks.
Yeah.
You don't have investors breathing down your necks. You don't have a multitude of staff where you've got their mortgages on your heads.
Yeah.
You can just play. Think about some of these bigger boys then. They recognise that.
Yes.
And now they're looking over their shoulder going, oh my God, these guys are really flexible and agile. Have you had any collaboration? Have you had any...
Yes.
Yeah? Tell
So
us a
this
little
has
bit
just
about that.
really started.
Within Proto itself, not kind of like further afield, kind of part of the whole ethos that we've got is like we only want to work essentially with people that we really enjoy working with and people that we enjoy spending time with.
Yeah, love that.
If we don't do that, fundamentally the projects, especially being creatively based, are gonna fail.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna become so contentious or just such a ball ache that it's not gonna be worth it,
Yeah.
no matter how much money gets put into.
Because one of the things we initially said was, you know, there's some major players in Proto. There's some really, really influential people there. You know, you've got...
You're punching above their weight.
Yeah, there's like Hammerhead, Perception, Pocket Money that's put with it. These guys have been doing some really amazing work. You know, we are really fortunate to know the guys well enough to be letting, you know, to see this stuff. We've signed all the NDAs. We've got it all officially done, but we get to see the fancy stuff. But we never went to anybody for work. You know, if we're not... Like initially, you know, it's like if stuff isn't coming in, we aren't going to go around panhandling. Like we don't want it to be a out and out business relationship where all we're doing is just going places with hands out. It's like, no, we're going to make a social connection. Like there is more to learn from these people than there is to gain from these people, and that's the mentality we went into it with. Luckily, that same approach meant we weren't in a position of, oh well, as soon as you've got that bit of work, well I guess we'll be really dead polite. No, we got to tell people they could go stuff it and get absolutely plastered with them, and you know, basically we got to be on a level with these people where we were seen as peers, and then slowly that has evolved into, well actually guys, the reason you guys are doing it the way you do it is because it's a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And a lot of people start to lose that the bigger the companies get. You know, it's like you do have the stress of all the mortgages, you've got all these things. And people kind of see us as a bit of a breath of fresh air, because it's like, we're just trying to do it. Like, we're trying to strip out all the bollocks and just crack on.
Provide a level of authenticity as well.
Exactly.
Strip out all the bollocks. I'm loving these. Absolutely fantastic. Let us unpack that a little bit further. And so we've talked about you guys being a small business. I've talked about some of these large blue chip companies who are not as agile then. Yeah. Are they coming to you guys now and saying, you're on the cutting edge, you're in that sandpit playing, we need some of your knowledge? Have you had that coming to you yet? Or is that a thing?
It's kind of
not essentially as of yet. We've had a lot of bigger businesses who have no idea with the kind of tech that I've been working with and the kind of production processes. It's kind of like been a lot of exploratory conversation about this is what exists, this is what you could do. Now, how does it fit your business?
Okay.
Yeah, I think our biggest challenge is not us understanding the tech.
Yeah.
It's getting other people to understand how they can use it.
Yeah, relaying the information as well, because it can be very heady, very technical, and very detached, especially when you're talking about virtual reality. If somebody hasn't put on a headset and seen what virtual reality looks like, how can you describe that to them? It's like trying to sell TVs on the radio.
Yeah. So,
or Cintel on a podcast.
Yeah. But, even just like the look, like we got a recommendation the other day where it was like, there's a guy looking for a young progressive company, which made us laugh hysterically when that came through. But it was great because it's like, sometimes a lot of these people, you're either really, Cintel is creative intelligence. We like to blend the two. It's all about taking creative ideas, which you can only have if you're out there experimenting, breaking ideas and running against people. We've got so many people that we can call up and say, we've got guys in China that we speak to even just say, what is the scene out there? Are we kind of marrying up with what they want to do? All of these different contacts make us really good, it seems. And we don't like to say this, we're not here to blow our own trumpet, as you can probably tell.
This is the death of man, Tom.
Exactly. But we have been spotted as we can get people excited about stuff that could otherwise be dull as dishwater.
Yeah.
And luckily, we do actually find it really exciting. So it isn't us trying to be a sales pitch. We're not trying to sell you a second-hand car and tell you that it's amazing. We're just going, we love it for these reasons. Here's what we would do with it if we could. Would you like a piece of that action? And typically that gets a good response. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the gaffer here. Can we keep going for a little bit longer, or?
Well, I think we're going to run into the next person, really.
Can I just grab one more question then?
Yeah, absolutely. We can also take this up later if you guys still want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you really enjoying our crack that much?
No, not really, but I just got one more question. It's lush. One more question is, what's next then?
Yeah.
What is next?
So there's...
It's under NDA.
Yeah.
Is there any way you want to go? You mentioned China there. Do you want to go out and conferences, meet people, liaise with people? Who do you want to engage with? Is there something that's burning like, oh, we really want to do that?
Was the chance to go to Copenhagen for that design festival, which would be interesting?
Yeah, I think...
The SIGGRAPH festival in Asia.
Yeah,
SIGGRAPH Tokyo is definitely on the list of where we're going to be visiting in a couple of years' time to see what the next wave of future tech is going to be.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then as well, we are, at the end of the day, we're still running a company. So a big thing that we're looking at now is the first step towards building a team. So, we can do a lot ourselves. We're very lucky as well that a lot of the close contacts that we have are willing to just spend time with us. So, almost on the drop of a hat, we've had filmmakers that we've needed. We always reciprocate as well. We're very open. Our office is an open door. We will allow people access to machines, computers, kit, anything.
Not to you, though, Ian.
No, we never want to see
You're welcome after this.
My non-exec, I was going to ask you if you want to be a non-exec, but I'm pulling that right now. It's not happening.
God,
Nearly had us as well. Yeah. Massive investment as well. Bag full of cash here.
Oh, God.
Couldn't grab it and run.
Yeah, right, you distract him. It's a difficult one to say how you would scale up. At the moment, again, we're throwing a lot of ideas out there. So, again, it'd probably be around a project. We don't want to be a company that's known for just a singular thing.
Yeah.
Really, what people should be coming to us for is the idea creation. It's like, we know the people to put this into practice. We're not there to be production monkeys. We can do it, and we will, but we've realised just through, not ourselves, we came into this expecting to do production. And then we realised the people that are doing production, they've had their heads in it for ages. They are the true intelligence. There is no one human being in Proto who can do the job of everybody else. Like, it has to be a community. But that community needs figureheads. And we're not saying that we should be that, but we've fallen into it in a weird way, where it's like, people actually do seem to get on with us. So
the young, fresh face of Proto.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, really speaks a lot, because if you look at us and watch the
definitely
live
not
stream,
fresh. No.
yeah, haggard old ball sacks at the tender age of 20.
Right, I think we'll leave it there then. On the subject of ball sacks, we'll leave it there. So, thank you so much, Cintel Intergalactic.
Real human.
No, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity to
Thank
speak
you.
as well.
Cheers, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Excellent.
She's got it.
He's got to give it back soon. Then.
You'll never find
It's actually
someone that loves you
I can keep
half
it.
the way that I do.
I will keep that in. I'll put that at the end when I edit it.
I could go really, really high pitch like this if you like. Hello, my name's Cameron. I come from Cintel.
He thought something was wrong with the audio there.
Live on the scene.
We're
going live. Don't say shit or fuck a bugger.
No C bombs though. Eh?
Oh, C-bomb.
You mean
My name.
don't mention Cintel, whatever you do.
Yeah.
I'm not having your face
Cameron
against
Craig.
those, yeah.
So, Ian, tell me, what was your childhood like?
Ian, before we get cracking, what's your favourite colour?
It's black actually.
Black.
Yeah.
Why black?
Yeah, it's like my heart.
Because I love heavy metal.
I do like heavy metal.
Oh, dude. We should have downloaded some hip-hop air horns for this and some laugh tracks.
Oh, yeah.
It's just working.
It's not supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be.
We're
serious.
here in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah. Yeah, coming to you live from New York.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Boys, just a quick audio test both again.
Yeah, well,
Hello.
yeah, I've kind of shut the guys up to be honest.
Ian, gentlemen first.